Paul to Coach's left.
Coach, you've in your time here, you've had every now and then a freshman that'll come in and have, obviously Hubbard was kind of an exception to the rule and how quickly he played and had a big role. But you got multiple freshmen this year with King and Jamar that are playing pretty significant roles now. Was that something you saw in the preseason that they were going to be able to contribute, or has it kind of been a gradual thing as the season went along?
Well, when we signed the class that you're talking about, we obviously, like everybody in the country, you sign kids that you think are going to be able to play immediately or in the future for your program. And we thought that with that class. And then how our roster came together, when you look at it going into June, and especially into the fall, I'm like, we're going to have some freshmen that will be playing for us in our rotation. And Jamar obviously was the first one, and he's, gradually gotten better and better and continues to emerge, if you will. And then King, is going through, like all new players do, the learning curve. And, he was very frustrated in the fall because, like every player I've ever coached, they want more. And he certainly was the same. And we were encouraging him behind the scenes because it's not that he doesn't have talent. I mean, everybody can see that. It's just learning the nuances and the speed and the physicality and being assignment correct and, how every little thing matters to the nth degree. And he stuck with it. He's up in that office more than anybody, watching extra film. He continues to work on his fundamentals behind the scenes when nobody's watching. And because of it, he's been given more minutes. And then, like always, like every coach tells every player, I would imagine, be ready. And when you get the opportunity, make the most of it, and you'll get more. And that's kind of what's been going on with him. The game is slowing down for him. He's understanding, the other end of the floor a little bit better, how important it is. He's got the physicality, the toughness. No one's ever questioned that about him. When he showed up in the first week of June, I remember out on that track, he comes out and we ran the mile and he won it. And, that doesn't happen very often where, not that a freshman can't win a mile heading into, your first week on a college campus, but some of them wouldn't. They don't want to necessarily do that. But he's uber competitive and has a lot of confidence, and it shows how he plays. So excited for him, excited what's in store for him, not just the remainder of the season, but obviously in the years to come.
We'll stay to Coach's left and go to Colin in the second row.
We saw Josh overcome a rough first half and ended up hitting some shots again. Jaden was doing the same. What have you seen from the two of them trying to play through a rough stretch of shooting and trying to overcome those personal hurdles as well as boosting the team?
Well, I mean, I know Josh a little bit better, obviously, having coached him, his entire college career. And he's always stays confident, and you have to. I mean, you got to erase the miss and get to the next play or get to the next shot. And he's shown everybody that's paid attention that he's able to do that. But they're all human. I mean, he was frustrated. He had a back spasm there toward the end of the half that I don't think anybody knew, and he really worked on it at halftime. And I felt much better in the second half. And then, like Josh Hubbard does, he made some tough shots and got us back in the game. And then, Epps has, great confidence in his game, and he's been there, done that at different places. He's always been a scorer, at high-level programs, and, he knows what his role is for us. And, they both, weren't super efficient, but they made shots to give us a chance, to win that game on Saturday.
We'll go front row middle with Sam, and then we'll head over to Coach's right with Jacob.
Quincy had that big game against LSU. Just how can you kind of keep him rolling and playing at a high level like that and a consistent level?
Yeah, I mean, that's a question for every player, in the country is, individually for them and then for us to try to figure out ways to push buttons and to get them motivated to play at the level that they're capable of. And, our team's been inconsistent, and certainly we've had some individuals, that have been inconsistent as well. And, nobody wants to play better than Quincy. I mean, he's an awesome kid, and he's an everyday guy, and you can count on him to show up to work every day and bring his lunch pail and do what the coaches ask him to do. And then some nights or afternoons, he's not as productive as he'd like to be. But he's proven to be able to, get to the next game, get to the next practice, and be better. And, he had too good of a game against LSU. I mean, he was perfect, everywhere from the field, and he made all the right plays defensively and rebounded the ball. And so that was a pretty high bar, for him going to the next game. But I'm pretty confident that he'll have some really good games here down the stretch.
I know you got several days before you play them, but kind of what are your early thoughts on Arkansas?
Yeah, I'm not very deep into them. Obviously, it's our bye week. But, Coach Cal will always have an uber talented team. And I've seen them just briefly cross, referencing when you get into scout mode. But I'm simple-minded that way. I just watch the team we're about to play and really don't pay too much attention to, the other SEC team. Try to keep my focus on that particular team, but they're very, very talented, and the guard out front, Acuff, is one of the best freshmen in the country, and he's obviously a high-level player, but they got a bunch of them. They got two handfuls or close to it that are great players, and they're having a really good season. And unfortunately for us, they're coming off a tough loss at home, but just like us, they're in their bye week as well.
We'll go ahead to David here, front row middle.
We were talking about the freshmen. A couple of things on that. Can you update us on the other two freshmen, how they're coming along and how they're handling their role in this program at this point?
Yeah, both Cam and T, are redshirting for us, I think, as everybody knows, and they've been great. Cam, when I talk to him, I just talk about, are you learning? Are you learning? Are you staying with it? Or are you okay? Because it's hard. Everybody wants to play. When game day comes on and the lights are on, and everybody wants to be a part of that. So it can be frustrating at times. But from my perspective, they're both doing great, and I think they are smart enough and to understand that they'll look back at this as, wow, that was really, really good for me. And why I am who I am today as a basketball player. Because if you handle it the right way and really, really work, because you got a different workload. You can work and lift different than the guys that got to play. They don't have to conserve anything, So Coach Dom Walker, and obviously he's a veteran, he knows that. So they're working on their bodies a little bit more than the guys that are playing the minutes on game day. And, they're working on their skill level in a different way than maybe some of the guys that are playing. But from my chair, they're both handling it very well, and they're both progressing. You can see it in practice for both of them. Cam, the game's slowing down a little bit. He's starting to understand how important, all facets of the game are. And then T has lost a ton of weight. I don't even know the number off the top of my head, but you can see it just physically, the transformation, in his body. And obviously that's a great sign, for a coach or a coaching staff when someone comes in and has got that much weight to lose, to have the work ethic and the discipline, to do that. And he's doing it on a daily basis, and he looks almost like a different person than he did when he got here in August. And so they're both doing great.
And related to that, whether they're playing or not, but especially for Jamarian and King, this time last year, previous years, they're getting ready for state playoffs, things like that. now they're looking at it, I've got 5 more weeks of regular season still ahead. You know, how are they handling that proverbial freshman wall? And how do coaches, you have a lot of experience taking them through times like this, handle this kind of season?
Yeah, it's a good question. I haven't seen anything from either one of our freshmen that are playing, King as of late, and certainly Jamar for most of the season, of being concerned about that. Neither one of them, are playing 30, 35 minutes, every single night. And certainly we're at that stage in the season where we're concerned about, having our legs and our minds, fresh for game day. So practice time has been reduced significantly, and very conscious of that, as we go down the stretch.
We'll go back to Paul to coach's left.
Coach, obviously, it's a pretty hot topic in college basketball these days with schools getting G League players, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, and if that's an avenue that you guys have looked at, or how do you think it's all going to play out? I know it's kind of hard to judge that, but just your overall thoughts on that situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mess. It's a mess right now. Nobody knows what the rules are. There's injunctions everywhere. I mean, I think there's more kids playing on a TRO from their own particular state than even most people realize. There's a lot of players out there that are eligible because of that situation. So, there needs to be some sort of reset. I don't think it's going to happen this year, but going forward, I think most coaches would just tell you, like, we just need to know what the rules are, and so they're the same for everybody, and then, everybody's on the same page, can act accordingly.
Got time for a few more. We'll go back to Danny P., second row to coach's right.
Coach, we all know that Coach Kyle is one of the most ultimate competitive coaches. Just from your observations, his short time at Arkansas, how do you think he settled in Fayetteville?
Yeah, just from watching him, and competing against him at Kentucky, and now that he's at Arkansas, and certainly I'm in no position to speak for him, but outside looking in, he seemed rejuvenated, if you will. He just seems like he's got a little different bounce to his step. I think the change, I would imagine he would say, and I don't pay that much attention to it, has been really, really good for him at this point in his career. And obviously, they had a heck of a run there, down the stretch of the SEC and then in the NCAA tournament after a rough start. And then this year, they've reloaded and got a heck of a basketball team. So, again, I don't know what he's saying publicly, but from an outside perspective, it looks like it's been a really good move for him.
We good? Anything else? All right, we'll see you Saturday.
Thank you.